Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Intellectual Podcast. We're just putting just a little drop of nuance to the polarizing conversations of the internet. I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And we're your hosts for today when we're going to try to figure out if Renee is a toxic bitch. Wait, what's going on here? How toxic? Is she the problem? Is she the problem? Maybe. We'll find out. We'll find out after this episode's over. This is going to be 10 signs you're the toxic one. Stay tuned for the rest of it.
I've been blindsided.
That's what makes it so much more fun, man. Like, hold on, what the hell?
She's on the heels of a breakup. Let's find out.
Was she the problem? Was she the problem? And we got Renee on the left. See over here, fresh out of relationship.
So tell us.
Was she the toxic one? Starting with.
Damn.
Actually, every single one of the entries that I listed on was me basing it off of the things that you were going through during your relationship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wait, every single one of what?
That I put down for my list was based off you and your relationship. That's not true, but that'd be funny if it was.
Damn. I was like, I don't think that's very accurate. Like, wait, now it's
this is an intervention.
I'm like, now we're really lying.
Right. Her relationship was not that bad, guys. Relax.
Damn,
Everybody calm down.
So funny. Is Renee the toxic one?
Is Renee the toxic one?
I'm not going to sit here and act as if I have been perfect.
Right. Because she hasn't been.
No, she hasn't been. Will I talk about those things? No. I will not tell you guys exactly what.
I will.
Maybe at some point, still too fresh.
Right. Do that when we have millions of followers, right? Put yourself on blast when it doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly.
Fuck you, pay me.
Stop.
Anyways, but yeah, we're gonna be the bit is over.
Yeah, it's done. It's dead. Let it die, please.
We're gonna be. I don't know why I wanted to talk about this. To be honest.
Well, I mean, I think for one, it's like really easy to talk about toxicity and like reference to the other person, to like you as toxicity is being done to you. And I think that often people neglect the ways in which that they can be engaging in toxic behavior themselves. And
it's very true.
It's a hard thing to do. I'll talk about it with some of these things. I've definitely been like the toxic person from my perspective. And it was very hard to face myself in those moments.
Damn.
And contend with the reality that like, this is the way that I'm acting in these ways. Is this the sort of partner that I truly want to be? And how do I shift those things,
That's so funny because me being intentionally the toxic one.
Right. Like, you always just try to incite and provoke.
Right. Provoking, inciting, stressing people out because I think it's funny.
Right.
Like,
Only you think it's funny. No one else is laughing.
Right. The joke's on you at your expense for me. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
But it's like, I had to contend and like really come to terms with the fact that it's like, no, I know I was a toxic one, and that was as intended.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I'm
that's
toxic.
very. Yeah, bitch.
Got him.
Horrible.
I will preface this conversation by saying toxicity is extremely enjoyable and kind of fun.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm okay, guys. Take this with such a grain of salt, and don't take my advice at all. But
this is not advice.
This is not advice. This is just me. And you know what? If this fucks me up with future partners who are not willing to be with me, so be it.
Right. Is this the red flag?
A little, yeah. This is 100% my red flag. A little dash at toxicity keeps things spicy.
If I'm too secure, if I'm not questioning just a little bit, like you don't have to disappear for days on end,
right? No,
because then I'll forget about you. We got options. Fuck you, mean. But just like a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of questioning. Like I don't know if I really got her like that. I'm yours. I'm yours forever. Actually, still, you know who you are. Call me back. I'm still waiting. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm yours forever because that's wild. So just a little sprinkle of toxicity.
Sometimes I allow the like I have like a wall, like a fence that I hold back the drama.
Right.
And sometimes I just allow the fence
just
to
open up a little
bit.
Yeah, just like
I'm gonna regret saying this.
Right,
so
right. This is
hardcore.
recorded, by the way.
But you know, this like, I hate that this is true too. But I'm being so honest.
But I'm not kidding. Right. Me
yeah.
neither.
And you know what? And it's not all parties understood this. I know. I don't keep this a secret.
That's probably why they get so attached to you
Yeah.
so quickly.
I'm not shy about saying this.
You know, we can unpack all
Yeah,
that in a healthy way in a different episode.
But
This episode is just trying to articulate toxicity.
Yeah.
But you just saw that video I showed you.
Against my will, yes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jem wanted me to watch this TikTok video
Because I'm just so curious.
Literally, what are you talking about?
You're not gonna fuck me?
No.
I literally made all of this food.
Because you cooked a meal for me.
I
You think
set
I'm gonna have
up candles, put on soft fucking
Oh my god,
jazz.
you put on a single candle and put on jazz for me?
Literally, you ate more of the food than I did. You fucking fat bitch.
This is
I'm
a
leaving.
skit, by the way.
I know.
And the caption was, "I'm never going back to the Hinge Date's house again," or something like that. And
yes, we can all agree. I'm not taking this too seriously, and I'm not gonna pretend that was real.
No, it was
in any
1000%
way,
a skit.
right?
It was.
So I'm not
1000
gonna take that and fuel some red pill rhetoric.
Yeah.
Talking about how women blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But can we all agree that is a reality that a lot of people find themselves in more often than not? Or maybe not more often than not. But
Just finding themselves in those situations where you go back to essentially I missed that part. Were they on a date at his house?
yes.
Okay. And he was expecting sex.
Because he cooked for her. Yeah.
Because he cooked for her and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is a reality
That's a reality that people go through.
Yes, women often find themselves maybe not so some women maybe for sure.
I'm saying.
I personally have never found myself in such a blatant situation, but definitely where the guy clearly was expectant. Yeah, that's
Right.
a
That's a reality.
That's a common scenario.
We can all agree that happens in life.
Yeah.
And first, I'm going to address the man.
Yeah.
Because whining about not being fucked is crazy.
That's so weird.
There is no excuse for that.
So weird.
I apologize for my sex, my gender, because that's wild.
Yeah.
I did all this stuff. You're not going to.
Yeah.
Please.
You're not gonna give me sex?
Please, we do not need more of your kind proliferating on the
No, thank
planet.
you.
No,
No, thank you.
I can't reiterate it enough. I could go in that could be an episode in and of itself of me just my rant about those type of men.
Yeah.
Begging for sex is crazy.
Yeah.
But I have to qualify this with you first because, like I always say,
Okay.
I don't know if we talked about this in the opposite sex friends episode, but one of the other benefits of being friends with Renee, being friends with women, is that you can assess how misogynistic your initial viewpoints are in
Yes.
relation to the women that care about you, right?
Yes.
And she'll tell you, right?
Yes.
You'll tell me if I'm being
I will.
misogynistic, right?
Yes.
And I just want to see, because this was my initial reaction
Okay.
after I started ridiculing the dude.
Right.
And I was like, but how much of that falls on the girl for putting herself in that situation? Like just realistically speaking, not to say that behavior is acceptable in any way, but why are you in that situation as a human being? Why do you have no sense of self-preservation to the point that you are randomly trapped in a crazy person's house with no chance of escape? Why are you in that man's house? Why are you in that man specifically's house? There's something that isn't that I can't understand about that. How does one find themselves in that situation? As a normal, adjusted, aware human being, how do you find yourself in a situation like that?
I'm gonna call misogyny on
Yeah?
this one. Yeah. I am.
But please answer my question, because I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think there's a lot of things that are are all true at the same time in this scenario. But I guess how you're saying or how you're framing it is just like very like women blaming, right?
I'm 100% blaming her.
Yeah, no,
100%.
exactly.
I think it's her fault that she found herself in a situation like that. And this is not to be, listen to me, because this is how I feel about it.
Okay.
There is a huge difference between this guy is crazy. We went to a restaurant. He's saying all this wild shit.
Okay.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But for you to be in the perpetrator's home is very different. You're literally trapped in a potentially dangerous and hazardous situation that you willingly placed yourself in, to the point I have two questions. Because like I said, the behavior is not acceptable, obviously.
Sure.
But as a woman dating men, how has this not come up in any capacity? How has this type of like this response not showcased itself in any way for you to find yourself in this situation? Assuming that this is like date 3 type thing, you find yourself at this house.
Sure.
Secondly, if this isn't date 3 and this is the first date, why are you in this situation?
Why did you go?
Why did you go to a stranger's house and willingly place yourself in this situation?
Yeah. Okay. Well, sure. I think like regardless of how the man is in that situation, sure, you do want to be like, as a woman, like you want to be more careful about like especially when you're like first meeting someone, where you're going out on dates with them, you know, like, yeah, definitely. We all like say that like we should do that. Do we always follow that? Not entirely. And that's like the case. Maybe you felt very comfortable with them. You felt like, okay, like he offered, especially like in this scenario, he sounds like, come over, I'll cook dinner for you. It'll be a really nice date. Like that sounds like a great date. Sounds amazing. I would love that date. Cook for me.
As a first date?
I mean, like that really depends. I don't know if it's like a first date or not, but I definitely like, I understand. Stop shaking your head.
My thing is like Ted Bundy would have had a field day.
I totally understand what you're saying there, but that still like doesn't like, that can be true of like, yes, you like, there are things that you should do that like, because given the world that we live in, like contending with reality that men aren't shit. And
okay, for sure.
No, like if we're just gonna like go there, right? We'll just really lean into it. The contending with the reality of men ain't shit, and because we do not know this man, we need to like put safeguards in place so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where we could be really harmed. Totally. And also they're like first, and I think that's a secondary argument, because first and foremost, the man feeling as if because he is on a date with this person and he cooked her dinner and invited her over to her home, that means that he deserves sex. Like that's just like not the case. It's like the same idea, even like on a slightly lesser degree, where guys will, something that's really common is guys will like, it's like first dates, Hinge, you match. And they're like, oh, like we should go out to this bar. And that bar happens to be right next to their house or right by their apartment. And so they're kind of like, let's go out, do this. But they're clearly expecting for like something to happen. And it's like, no, that's not at all like what like the situation like should be. And that's really the problem. That is the problem. Like that. But the fact that the situation can be that, if you find yourself in the situation, but like how aware are you being? I don't think though. This is the thing. Like we don't always know that a person's going to be that way. I have been surprised before, but like feeling in their house, comfortable with someone, maybe not necessarily in their home, but like being surprised by the way that someone could be and then making me feel unsafe. Yeah, I just don't like, I don't think that like when a guy is like, it wasn't as if he was like, hey, mamas, you want to come over? And like, she came over and he got like, granted, like I said, first and foremost, him getting mad about expecting sex. We agree. Is like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. Crazy. Just doesn't insane. Make sense. I could understand a little bit more if it was like the argument, if it was like he had just hit her up to come over and she came over and didn't want to have sex. When like, girl, like he hit you up at like 11 o'clock.
Right. What are we doing here? Why are you
like,
here?
You know,
Why are you
like
here? This is crazy.
Exactly. Versus he's taking you out on a date. That is a very common date that people do. I've done it before. Like, come over, let's have dinner, et cetera, et cetera. Dates should not ever have like not ever, but like shouldn't really have that expectation of sex every single time. If you're going on dates, no one should be expecting sex. If that's what happens, if that's what the two parties want to engage and do, hell yeah. Especially like when you're first starting to date, like the expectation of sex after a date every time is weird. You're getting to know that person, you know?
I'm trying to get to know him. What do you mean?
Well, no, I hear you. We love to get to know, but like that expectation of it is just
to the point where it angers you that much.
Yeah.
And I'm saying,
no, I hear what you're saying too, but I don't think that's like the real problem here.
I'm not saying that it's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I think it's so little of a problem that it doesn't really merit that much of like a attention.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm just like, what failed in your picker that puts you in a situation like that?
I really don't think it's necessarily always a failed picker. I think you sometimes underestimate the way that men can flip a switch. Or that humans can flip a switch.
I don't.
Not even just men. Women can do it too. People flip a switch.
People can be fickle. It's true. But here's my like thing about that. Right. Here's my thing about that. If that's the case, there's a failure in the primary stages of dating. Because if you find yourself in a situation like that, you are not asking the right questions. You are not participating with the intentionality that you should to avoid placing yourself in a situation like that.
Sometimes, but people also aren't always like completely truthful. Like people will say what needs to be said to get what they want as well. You know,
and that can be tailored by the type of questions that you are asking them. Because I think crazy people are always crazy, and people are really good at hiding it.
Yeah,
but you can perceive crazy if you're looking for potential crazy.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. There's like a gut, like there's like a feeling for sure.
So
sometimes.
If you had, again, so the lack of self-preservation is my issue.
Yeah.
Because if this guy is a dangerous entity, because that's not a normal male response. Most men aren't going around doing that. No. But
I hope.
Because right. Whoa. Most men aren't going around doing that.
Right. Fingers crossed.
And if you so happen to find yourself in a situation with the guy that is doing that, I'm like, why aren't you perceiving that? Why aren't you perceiving that? Because you should be able.
You're like having like there's like to you there is something that you could have sniffed out prior to that date that would have indicated that he was a type of person who
that should have like raised a slight
going
alarm.
to their home is maybe not the right thing to do quite yet or at all, depending on what's revealed.
And you're just not assimilating or assessing the proper information to get you to that place. Because nobody should be put in a situation like that.
Yeah.
No one should willingly put themselves in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Accidentally find themselves in a situation like that. And I'm not talking about some random crazy person that crashes out at a park. I'm talking about you're in this man's home chilling and he's crashing out and you're trapped in his house.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's not normal to me. That's not normal behavior. To crash out like that is chaotic, and to find yourself in a situation in which someone's crashing out at you like that is also equally, well, not equally, but it's also as crazy. Because like, why was nothing sensed?
Yeah.
How are you going about dating to the point where you find yourself in that situation? I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. Because if most men are not like that,
I see what you're like. I definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You definitely want to give the advice to people that like maybe no homes, no addresses, like the first couple dates, first few dates when you're getting to know somebody. Like those are definitely like the rules to follow for sure. I agree with that. Just like to like protect yourself. You don't know these people, and like, yeah, then you could find yourself in a situation where a guy is like aggressively expecting sex, and like, yeah, that's like a really like shitty place to be in. And it just, I don't know. Yeah. That's the thing. It's a yes and sort of scenario to me.
Then here's my and.
Like, the first conversation has to be the man's behavior,
which it was.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I'm saying like in general, like this, like the yes and has to be like the man's behavior first, and then like let's contend with the reality of what the world we live in and the ways in which we as women need to protect ourselves.
Got you. So misogyny, yes or no?
It's like not entirely.
Got you.
No.
Misogyny coded.
Like maybe a little internalized.
Little internalized. Got you. So first of all, and then my and to that is that I want to think of the ideal questions to ask a potential partner.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that you never find yourself in a situation like that. What should you be asking that will give you that information?
Your expectation of never is like making me hesitant.
No one should find themselves in a situation like that.
There is like I agree. I hope to God that I would and I feel like I am very careful. I'm very aware. I try to make sure, et cetera, et cetera. But like what makes me that's like the part of like the misogyny that I think that's the part that I think is like maybe is where I'm sniffing the misogyny, or just like to expect a person like. Not that like, oh, well, it might happen, so to like be flippant about it, because who knows? But like there's a degree of like human behavior that you can just never predict. Like as much as you can be careful, a person might be able to get past all of your tests and all these obstacles. And that definitely has probably happened to people before. That's definitely happened to people before, where you feel like you're so careful and you feel like this and or that, and like you're so aware, and you still find yourself in a situation alone with a crazy man.
I hear you. So
it can't be like never. There's definitely things that you can do, right, to like not
prevent it.
To prevent, yes, but never is so aggressive for me. I think that's what it is.
Well, I think that it should never happen. Because of that, I think if I put my brain to it, if we put our brain to it, I think we can assimilate a series of questions to ask a person. And if you get through that list, you should never find yourself in that situation. I think that's possible. Okay. So I'm going to try to make one.
Okay. Sounds good.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
That might come later.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's toxic. That's
a
perfect
example. Of crazy men,
right?
Or
that's a toxic situation that I hope no one finds themselves in.
Expecting sex from someone when you're dating them.
Or just because you cooked for them.
Or just because you cooked for them, yeah.
That dude was a white dude. You already know that food wasn't that good.
1,000%.
Like, it wasn't fuckable. That wasn't a fuckable meal. Let's be real.
It was not. That wasn't delicious.
That wasn't the one.
Yeah.
Because every time I be cooking for bitches.
Stop. Move on. No.
Move on.
You do not need to do that. You did not need to do that.
But I did.
Oh my God.
All right. You want to go first or me?
Sure.
10 signs that you're the toxic one.
Yeah.
Baby,
Getting
Renee is so toxic.
She's hella toxic.
What's that a song? Oh, that's on Britney Spears. You're toxic, I'm shipping. You're the taste of your lips, I'm alright.
Yeah.
She's toxic, she's slipping under. Taste of your poison, paralyzed. Are they saying paralyzed or paradise? Because depending on which one,
I actually have no idea.
Right. Depending on which word that is, it changed the entire meaning.
It does.
The taste of your poison, paralyzed. Okay, cool. The taste of your poison, paradise. She's high off the. You see?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she wanted you to contend with.
She's allowed to be like, you know. I know. I always wonder whether singers intentionally do that.
Just
with words.
Understanding the way that songs are written. Most people aren't just casually writing words and putting it together.
Yeah,
I think that's like 100% intentional.
A thing. Hell yeah.
Especially because like you can find that meaning in there. Kind of like the freaking literary people when you were in school. Like this book was written.
Yeah.
So we're not like pulling this stuff out of nowhere.
Right.
It's here because
there's meaning. Because
no one, you didn't put these words together for no reason.
Yeah. It's very true. Very true.
Very true. Very true. All right. My absolute least favorite thing that toxic people do. Maybe you don't necessarily know you're being toxic when you're doing this.
Yeah.
This is like this is the hill I die on all the time. And this is the individuals that are kind of always victims and they're allergic to accountability.
Yeah.
Being allergic to accountability is like so annoying to me because it's like,
like be on your bullshit, but like at least like
if you can do it, if you can talk a big game, if you can do all this craziness, own up to it. I'll respect you more. Most of the fights I've had with people I'm dating is because they're trying to dodge and weave and it's like, dude, I'm not even mad. You guys heard what I said about cheating. Like, I'm not even that stressed out. But don't pretend like you didn't do it. It's like, oh, I'm not trying to judge them as right before they're about to judge the fuck out of somebody. It's like, no, you're judging them. I don't judge you for judging them. But you're judging them. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no. And those people are really uncomfortable sitting in their uncomfortability.
They're mad defensive.
Yeah.
Their victim mentality is incredibly exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, you literally cannot engage in a relationship with a person who cannot take accountability for their actions.
In some way, shape, or form, they're never wrong. Ever.
And
ever wrong. Ever.
Yeah. Exactly. I was saying that like literally shows up by like, if you find yourself like being someone who like can't be like, yeah, you know what? Like, I did do that.
You're so right.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's literally what everyone wants.
That's
no one is asking for. They're not asking you to kneel down and worship them.
Yeah.
They're just like, my bad, bro.
Right.
You're done.
You're always
it's
trying
over.
To like find a reason.
Right. It's like, no, but see, because like how you were talking about the apologies when you offend somebody, and remember that conversation that we had that one time?
Yeah, I definitely do have like a small proclivity to do this. No, I forget how long ago it was that we had this conversation, but I definitely can. And for me, it comes from a place of I am such a perfectionist and I make every effort to ensure that I do not offend someone, that I do not do something that can make someone feel a certain type of way. So when someone comes to me, or if like in my relationship, if my partner comes to me and is like, you did this thing, I will get naturally like defensive and like, well, but this is the reason. And like, one thing it was helpful to understand where that was coming from, because what was really happening, even though my partner in that moment may be suffering from that, what was really happening is I was upset with myself for even messing up in the first place, for even not knowing that I did something to like offend my partner or make them feel a certain type of way. That like bothers me. So it's like understanding for me the motivation behind that defensiveness, and then being able to then flip that behavior, right?
And hold
instead
space
of
for your
becoming
partner and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a defensive of like my actions, like, well, it wasn't really like my fault. I wasn't. Blah, blah, blah. Be like, okay, well, it's coming from oddly, it's coming from a place of really caring about this person, and I'm upset with myself that I missed it.
Right.
So just say that. Literally, just say that. That was like a huge like game changer for me. Was like literally just say that.
Just say that part. The thing you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Don't explain why you're struggling with it. Just say what you're struggling with.
Like,
you're good right there.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Right. My bad. My
exactly.
bad. In an unintentional toxicity on that part.
Yeah, definitely.
What you got for me?
Okay. Another one, when you are super reactionary and have like zero emotional regulation.
Yeah.
That is a toxic trait that has to be like, not even just for relationships. Like, you cannot have any sort of relationship at all, interaction with people, if you are someone who's like incredibly like just
Volatile,
reactionary. Yeah, you have very volatile emotions.
Emotional people happen to be my least favorite type of people.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because people, when they interact with me, they think I'm like very high emotion. But like I am very high expression.
Yeah.
I like to express myself in extremes because I think it's a much more interesting way to be in a space, right?
Yeah.
You get a reaction. But when you're interacting with people one-on-one,
Yeah.
I'm actually extremely calm. So when people are over here like blowing things out of proportion, or you say one thing and they want to make a mountain out of a molehill, and I'm just like,
yeah, no, it's
like,
tough.
please.
It's definitely, and like even for like that person, like it's tough on you too. Like that's just exhausting for everyone. And granted, it's going to be exhausting, like working through those, kind of figuring out why you are this reactionary person and what triggers you and why it triggers you. But I mean, yeah, it's absolutely essential.
I agree. I agree, because goodness, that's something else. And then you have to overcompensate, and like two people can't be both emotional at the same time.
Yeah.
So God forbids you are trying to communicate something that they did to you, and they're like blowing it up. So now you have to be like, it's not like that. And then you have to work overtime managing your emotions and their emotions. It's like,
because it's not, at the end of the day, like always, like emotions are not always like dealing with reality. And when you are like a highly emotional person and allow those emotions to like rule you, like it's hard to engage in a relationship with that sort of person, because you're not arguing the thing that you're arguing. You're fighting that person's emotion. Can't do it.
I agree. Number 3, you are toxic if you are incapable of holding space for emotions that conflict with your reality. You can't hold space for people.
Yeah.
You can't exist in a space where two things can be true at the same time. There's a word for that. You can't
mutual
move.
Exclusivity? Mutually
But it's
exclusive?
for the psychology side of it, is you can't exist past cognitive dissonance.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
That's what it is, the cognitive dissonance of it. Anything that doesn't make sense to you, you reject in its entirety. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not a good way to be. And I was like, I can accept that your action was not intentional if you can accept that it hurt me.
Yeah.
Easy.
I feel like the people who like are like that, there is just like a lot of fear and like the unknown of anything that exists outside of their own reality.
Fair enough.
I think that's a very like fear-based like response, like whether it's like you're self-protecting in some sort of way, and like you need to hold on to like this perception or viewpoint of life in order to get through life. Maybe I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of fear like in that. Like when someone's like, you can't hold space for other people's, because to contend with that, then with your like your own reality, people, there's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, when you said that, it made me remember this thing that I learned, and it's like those type of people that are doing that. While it is toxic, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not going to say it's not toxic.
Yeah.
But they can't accept any information that conflicts with their image of themselves.
Yeah.
Because if that shatters, then there's nothing left under that.
Right.
So they like go crazy every time it's like triggered.
Right.
So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I still hate them, but you're right.
Oh my gosh.
You're right.
I have empathy.
You do have empathy. I'm still learning that one.
Yeah. Just get over your fear.
Yeah, just stop.
Just stop.
John,
Just
create an identity beyond your image of yourself.
Yeah,
It's really easy, actually. How old are you? 70? Come on now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this next one is like, I feel like especially for like
You?
friendships. No, like kind of like for I feel like for
Oh.
friendships, like I notice this is like a thing, like for some people. If you have an affinity for drama, you have the same problem with absolutely everyone.
But you're never wrong, right?
But you're never wrong.
Like all these
Yeah.
people have problems, but they talk to each other, and it's the
Yeah.
same problem. Like, I don't like how XYZ does this, but you can't see that you're the problem in that.
Right. Yeah. And similar to the last one, I think it's usually like, well,
Not you trying to
What is it
empathize
based
with
in?
toxic people.
Well, you have to. That's the only way that you can maintain lack of toxicity.
Or break up with them. Separate yourself.
No. Like that's
for
how
the individual.
yourself. Yeah. How do you not like become that toxic person? Is like to understand it. Like, why is a person like that being the way that they are? And like, I mean, granted, in some cases, like if the affinity for like drama, like you it could just be like a pretty self-centered person and like learning how to not be that, like everything doesn't like revolve around you.
Right.
But I feel like with people like that, and I've come across those people specifically with like in friendships, like people who are like that.
Girls that don't like hanging out with girls because it's too much drama.
No, like girls who are very like have all these friends but have all this drama, and they're constantly dropping friends like flies, and like it's like a revolving door of people, and like they're from what I gather, it's like, I don't know if insecure is not the right word, but there's definitely like I don't know, like a lack of acceptance of yourself. It feels like, because like you, I don't know. And like, then like you project that out onto your relationships, and like then relationships reflect that, and people, that's why you always have drama. Well, they're the problem. Like I'm not, I feel like those people are, I'm not articulating this really well at all. And I'm like,
She's tired, guys.
really upset. I'm really upset with myself. I sound like an idiot.
Hey, yo, we the what?
Oh my god, we the fucking dumbasses. Fucking dumbass.
Where is this coming from? Good God. Talking about emotional regulation.
This is how I'm emotionally regulating.
No.
I'm regulating the emotion.
Regulate this.
Oh my god, regulate this bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, so that was a lot.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm like trying to figure. It's in my head what I want to say, but I can't. Be the fucking idiot.
Oh, that was so funny.
It's just because it's like in my brain, the thought, and I'm like not like. And honestly, I'm thinking of a very specific situation of this person who is like this, where they. Just like they have like they always, it's like it's you, and this is like a universal experience. Like if you meet that girl, it's like, oh, like what, you're so fun and outgoing, but like why don't you have any friends? And they're like, oh well, you know, I always had the same, like this is the same problem or whatever. And then you start hanging out with them, you see like, oh okay, yeah, that's the problem. And then you maybe start addressing it with them, and then all of a sudden you become the problem, and like fuck you, and like blah blah blah.
See, this is why I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like damn.
Okay, for sure.
But I think those people are usually deeply insecure. I think insecure is like the right thing.
Probably.
I think they're deeply insecure, and it's like they're not willing to like contend with that or like accept themselves in whatever way needs to be accepted. And so instead of that, if they don't just get radical acceptance from people without any need for change, then they completely reject it. Yeah. They're like,
silly.
Okay, no.
Silly.
Like
silly,
that's how
silly.
they like deal with their insecurity, is by like brazenly like not changing, you know,
Doubling down.
doubling down. Hey, you know one thing I will respect is a double down. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I will not.
Standing on your
that.
10 toes.
Standing on business is crazy. In this context,
10 toes
this is
down.
not the business you need to be
10
standing
toes
on.
down. I'll respect it.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
No, we should change it. We should change it. We should try.
I agree.
All right, next one.
I agree. People that just cannot communicate for the life of them.
Yeah.
And it's like communicating little things, communicating little tiny things. Where it's like, let me think of an example. You are listening to a person explain something to you, and you immediately center yourself in it. And you make it about you, and you can't separate yourself from what they're telling you. And you, like J-Lo in that one interview.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How she's always, you look at J-Lo's interviews, and every first line she says is like something about the Bronx or something about being Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
No matter what we're talking about, she'll always be like, no, yeah, because like as a woman from the Bronx, as a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
We get it.
We were talking about salad. Like, what are you talking about,
Yeah.
lady? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, yeah, communication is just like, as an adult, like, you can only, because I feel like with communication, that's something that, like, you either learn from, like, I don't know if this is entirely the source of it, but you are really good at it because you grew up in a good family home with a good, like, you just grew up with a good family, or you're bad at it because you grew up in a bad, like, I feel like childhood and like seeing your parents' dynamics, the way they interact with each other, the way they communicate with you, that like really entirely informs the way that how good of a communicator you're naturally going to be. But as an adult, that is entirely your responsibility to learn how to do. Like, for your sake alone, to like learn how to articulate like your perspective and to understand others in relation to you and not in relation to you. And it's such a necessary tool.
Learning how to articulate your internal world is invaluable. Because if you can't do that, you can't interact with people.
Yeah. It's kind of
Just
hard to
at
have
all.
a relationship at all in that. You kind of can't have a relationship.
It's true.
Or at least a healthy one.
It's true. I agree.
When there's unnecessary competitiveness, so there's the lack of an ability to decenter themselves, and everything always leads back to them, but in like a competitive way.
They're the type of people that incite jealousy in you, little mini competitions. So like they're gonna flirt
Yeah.
with this dude at a party to make you jealous.
Yeah.
Because it will trigger whatever something and then make you more attached to them or blah, 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 blah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
can I?
Yeah. That's a little toxic. Just a tad. Just a tad. Instead of communicating your feelings,
Oh my gosh.
we're going to purposely annoy him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh man, they have you running around in circles trying to fight for their affection the whole time. The whole time.
Yeah. Those people are afraid of love. Yeah. Someone who does that, like, those are like little tests.
I hate.
We
I
already
have
know.
reiterated
We
this
already
so
know.
much. I hate
Jem
tests.
hates a test.
And that's why.
Yeah.
That's literally why.
Yeah, those people have a fear of love, and they're constantly having to like test their partner in some way to like check.
Right.
Do you still love
Reaffirm to
me?
themselves
Exactly.
that like it's actually real. No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Miss me with that. It's not. I hate you.
It's not. Boom.
Yeah.
Self-fulfilling
Clearly
prophecy. How do you feel
not real.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
Well.
you.
Yeah. No. It doesn't work. It's not a good tool.
This is one of actually my personal favorites.
Okay.
Using gestures and money.
Oh my gosh. Shut the fuck
to
up.
fabricate and manipulate your interactions.
Yes.
That's the way to do it, honestly.
So this is what that crazy guy was doing on that TikTok. He was using a gesture to try and manipulate a situation to get what he
I
wanted.
didn't even make that connection.
Yeah.
But like that's true.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
Right,
he was doing.
exactly.
Thinking that or like what do you call those things? It is
Like thinking you're owed something.
but it's a thing that it's called when you give somebody something and then because you gave it to them you expect something back.
I don't know.
What is that called?
I'm not sure.
Oh man, I forgot what that is called.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, freaking fucking dootin'.
Wow. Words.
Thinking you're owed or entitled to somebody's reciprocation just because you did something for them.
Yeah. I think people
That's
can.
the crazy thing.
I think people can like often like there's like a fine line there, or like maybe people some people may intentionally try and like skew the line. I think oftentimes it's not intentional, that people will like confuse, like you should have like expectations of reciprocity, or there should be reciprocity in a relationship, and you should also have like expectations of like your partner. I feel like that can become like, when you get into like the nitty gritty of just like being in a relationship, I think that sometimes like that can be confused, and like, and those lines like can be blurred or like crossed a little bit. And so you have to be, I think, in those moments, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't think I really can, but like, what's an example?
We're fresh out of examples today.
I know, we ain't got
We had so much, we put all our energy into that sex conversation, so
Yeah.
I understand.
We did. We really did.
That took a lot out of me.
I'm going to try and think of an example. Sorry, I just looked at you. You look dead in the eyes. Oh, I can't. I want to think of one.
Didn't think of one.
You know, say like your boyfriend like gets you a coffee every single morning. He either like sends it to you or like sends you money like for a coffee or whatever. And you guys are, this is such a dumb example. I don't know that I want to say it. And you guys get into a fight, and he stops giving, for that week that you guys are in a fight, he stops giving you that coffee. You now don't feel like good even more. You don't feel loved. He only gives you the coffees when you guys are like in a really good place. But like if you guys are going through something, he doesn't get you the coffee. That, I don't think that boyfriend in that situation, or partner or husband, whatever it is intentionally being like, is using this gesture to try and get something like, but the thing that they're getting is not so like obvious. That I will only give this to you when we are good. When we are not good or something's going on, you will not receive love from me in these ways. I will not give you these gestures if there is something going on. But that's, I don't know if it's necessarily like manipulative, but it's a toxic behavior in my opinion, especially for two people who are wanting to be in a long-term relationship. Because at the end of the day, and I feel like I've probably said this so many times on this podcast, is that when you are committed to someone, when you're wanting to be with someone for a long time, those little things have to be maintained regardless of the like weather of the relationship. You have to maintain that, the gratefulness, even though I hate you right now. Thank you though for the like, you know, right. Just as much as like he can say in this scenario, you know, I'm really upset with you right now. Here's your stupid coffee though. And she can be like, you know, I hate you too. Thank you for the coffee. You know what I mean? Like there still has to be like that through line. Yeah. Because otherwise you're using things to get something from the other person.
It becomes, the transaction becomes too apparent in that situation.
Exactly.
So no, that's a great example, Renee.
It ended up working out.
Yeah, that's a good example. All that stress for such a good example. Yeah. And
I really wanted to make sure it was a good example.
It was.
Okay, good.
All that effort definitely paid off.
Okay, sick.
But I guess that is the problem with attaching expressions of love and connection through like gifts or monetary or material things. Yeah. Because when you're not feeling it, if that's your expression of love, you don't want to have to fucking buy that damn coffee. I feel that.
Yeah,
I fucking feel that. And I definitely, like, I can understand why you wouldn't want to give that. And I can also understand how that is extremely toxic. Yeah.
And you can insert like other sorts of gestures. I mean, I can't really think of it, but like usually gestures there is some sort of action in that regardless.
Like they always kiss you goodnight.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Or they always send you that one good morning text, and then you fight the night before and they don't send you that text. Yeah. Damn.
We know the emotional distress we're causing our partner
when
we withhold things. We know.
I sure do.
You are horrible.
I am.
Horrible.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged.
All right. The next one, number 8, I think. If someone intentionally provokes you, or that you intentionally why am I? A toxic person will intentionally provoke you to invalidate your point. So intentionally makes you jealous, their settled devaluation. A toxic person can effectively erode the identity of any chosen target. This is such a gem speak. Are
you struggling?
I'm reading from. Yeah, I'm struggling to say it in my voice. I'm reading from Jem's words.
Take a moment and understand what is being said. And
I have no understanding of what I'm saying.
Reinterpret it in your words, man. That is like, this is just how my mind is. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is like gaslighting.
Except
like, you're like almost describing gaslighting.
And this is because I didn't put gaslighting on here for this very specific reason of how like obvious it is and how like people don't necessarily explain gaslighting correctly.
I agree. Yeah.
But this is it's not necessarily gaslighting, but it's trying to maintain moral superiority by making you the unreasonable individual in the dynamic.
Totally.
So if you come to him with a problem, then he is going to intentionally push your buttons until your emotional expression is heightened and you're like erratic and you're like irritated by what they did, while they're like, see, and this is why we can't have a conversation because you're too emotional.
Right.
But it's like, it's them that pushed you to that point. But now they seem like the reasonable one because they're calm and collected, even though they pushed you to that emotional state.
Exactly. Yeah. Oof. That's a doozy. That is a doozy.
That is like a level of toxicity I can't play around with because I hate that shit.
No.
And I'm one of the people that likes to interact with people on the same plane. So like if you communicate something to me, then I have to like validate your feelings, even if your feelings, in my opinion, are stupid and wrong. Yeah, I'll always like listen. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't reach that level of toxicity.
Yeah, I've never exhibited that sort of thing either. I agree. I'm much too emotional. I'm like,
she's the erratic one. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm the erratic one. It's being done to me.
It's being done.
It has been. Oh my god,
it's being done to me.
Insanity. Could not.
Poor thing. Number 9, you know you're toxic when you feel like you're entitled to things that you haven't communicated and you punish your partner for it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I need coffee every morning.
Yeah.
But I haven't told you that.
Yeah.
And then when you don't do it, I get pissed.
Right.
And
have you just not seen the need and fulfilled that need without me having to tell you? You know, it's like the same.
Can't be an expectation though.
Huh?
There can't be an expectation.
No, that's I'm. What are you doing with your eye? That was weird.
I do that like all the time.
I know. I don't like that.
I'm popping it out the socket right now.
Gross. God, what the fuck was I saying?
It's okay. We're almost done. We're so close.
Well, keep it together. Keep it together.
Yeah, we're right there. We're right there. Don't crash out now. We're right there.
Yeah, no, like you're saying like, oh, like I'm speaking from the toxic person's point of view, of being like, well, I need coffee. Why wouldn't you just like see that need and do it? You know, or like the flowers. I feel like it's such like a common one.
Obviously, girls want flowers. Like I shouldn't have to ask.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Exactly. Which true, but
yeah, I
am the toxic one in this situation.
I told you. I prefaced this the way I was because I wanted everyone to finally understand what I have to deal with on a regular basis.
Oh my god! I'm like,
toxic motherfucker.
You know, not wrong. It's kind of like 101 dating women for dummies. Like, I'm so sorry. It is so basic. So actually that one, you can be a little toxic, ladies, with that. With the flowers, I'll give it to you.
The podcast is canceled.
I give it to you. No, I think that's so valid. Because you cannot tell me that is like so everywhere on the internet. If you have even for like...
That makes it right?
I'm literally just saying, like, if anything, it should be a woman communicating to their partner, I don't need flowers. That's what should be communicated because it's such an obvious thing that men can do to make their woman feel special. It's so obvious.
I will never agree with this. And it's not because I disagree with the sentiment. Because, flowers are easy.
Yeah.
But you're not entitled to flowers.
I think with most other things, yeah, those things need to be communicated. And it doesn't I think a lot of people in these scenarios, people who are like this, they're like, oh, it devalues the gesture, it devalues the thing that I want done for me. But that's just simply not the case. Your partner is not a mind reader. And then everyone can enjoy themselves. You can get what you want, hopefully, maybe, if it's reasonable.
Not if it's flowers, not for me.
And your partner understands your needs, and you can fully express those needs. Yeah, that is definitely for the most part, like I said, sans the flowers. It's always weird to me when people feel like this should just everything in a relationship should be explicitly communicated.
I don't think a girl would have to communicate that she would want flowers. A guy should want to give a girl flowers. That is what you're saying. And this is the disconnect, right? This is where it changes.
Okay.
For you to be upset at your man because he doesn't get you flowers is dumb.
Yeah. No, I would probably just tell. Right. And that's what I've done. Actually, I haven't had to. I've gotten flowers. And you know what you do? Because this is sometimes maybe a mistake that, actually, I've never seen this mistake happen, but a hypothetical mistake. I'm going to give the guys, maybe this is why.
Yeah, a pass.
Maybe you do, the first time you give your girl flowers, she's like, oh, thank you. And the reaction isn't crazy. And so you're like, okay, maybe she doesn't really want them. Granted, both people are not communicating what they need to communicate. Because what I do when I receive flowers for the first time from a man, I will always say, oh my God, thank you so much. I love him so much. I will literally take photos of it. I'll post it on my Instagram. Because that's just,
she's giving y'all free game right now. That's crazy. Because that's very true.
I literally make it so obvious how much I love it, and I have never had an issue getting flowers in my relationships. Never.
That's true.
You just have to the things that you really love. It's with anything, you have to
Pavlov's
positive reinforce behavior that you want. Positive reinforcement.
Don't demand it.
Yeah.
Be careful what you demand from a man.
Positive reinforce.
But
a man.
All right. But if you hype up the behavior you want to see, don't chastise the absent behavior because you won't get it. But if you hype up the behavior, it's wow. You know what I think is the coolest thing ever?
Yeah.
Freaking flowers. I'm a slut for flowers.
I'm a slut.
For flowers.
For flowers, yes. For flowers. Right.
You're crazy. Yeah. Oh my God. What's wrong with her?
Oh my God.
But yeah, don't not get the thing, even if it's flowers, and then be like, you know what? I deserve this thing. You should be getting me this thing. So silent treatment for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes that's entitled behavior. That's toxic.
That's
entitled
exactly
behavior.
what we're talking about right here. You're the one that went on the tangent talking about we need to, what? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. This one literally says entitled to things that they don't. We're here. We got here. We're good. It's fine.
Yes, I agree.
Indeed.
All right, and number 10, the last one. You are a toxic person if you rush most, if not all, romantic interactions that you have. If you automatically feel like I'm in love, this is the one with every single person that you have any sort of connection or contact with, that's a pretty toxic behavior.
You know what's crazy?
What?
I'm very obsessive.
Yeah.
I hyperfixate very quickly.
Really?
And I don't fall in love with everybody, but I obsess over people quite easily and quite quickly. So I think that's the lesser version because I'm not thinking I'm in love with them. I know I'm not. Yeah. But I might love bomb them a little bit, but it's a byproduct of me being just really
You're actually
enamored
obsessed.
by this person. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like me and Tyler.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. You don't know.
I'll buy her bathwater if you're selling it.
If she's selling, I'm buying.
I'm buying. If you're selling, I'm buying.
It's such a crazy thing to say.
But it's
don't tell Tyler
that's I know. I shouldn't lead with that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's what you want to lead with?
Well, you're right. See what she's doing to me? See what she's doing? I'm losing all my game.
I'm losing all my game.
This is what happens to the phrase of pretty women. This is why I can't be like this. What are you talking about? Oh my God, I'd buy your bathwater? What? Bro, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you saying? This is... you're right.
Gosh,
you're very right.
behavior.
See, this is why I say this in a safe space.
Yeah.
So, like, if I do meet her, I'll never say that shit to her. I would never say that to her.
Yeah, I would hope not. I would hope not.
I would buy that shit for real.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But, like, I get why people want that shit now.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I think that people that rush into romantic interactions are running away from themselves.
Yeah, it's the classic avoidance.
Yes, it's very avoidant behavior. Feels counterintuitive because relationships require so much of like non-avoidance of self, but
which is why they're running so much.
The serial daters. Too serious. All right,
there you go.
Let's find a new love interest.
Oh my
Find a
God.
new love.
Just addicted to the chemicals in your brain that happens when you're infatuated with a person.
Yeah.
I love infatuation though. Holy shit.
Yeah, honeymoon phase is great.
It's so fun.
It is a nice. I do understand it. Don't get me wrong. I really do understand why people chase the high.
Honeymoon phase is over. Now you're all like, trying to make this shit work, putting in work
Right.
on your relationship. Miss me with all that manual labor. Like I said, that's crazy. I actually don't feel like, you know what? I'm not going to swallow my pride today.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm getting a new girl.
Damn.
Easy. You're replaceable.
Easy. Wow. Okay.
Not you.
I know. I know it's not me. I just like, damn, to that like girl that you were dating.
But
and you're this hypothetical.
That's just because I date such low quality women.
Well, you know, you're aware of it and you can change it, you know.
I don't know if I can. I think I'm addicted to it now.
That's toxic. Your toxic trait.
Yeah.
That is your toxic trait.
Yeah. That's my red flag.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to low quality women.
Yeah.
I see the dateable girls and I'm like, you deserve someone who's going to take you seriously. And I don't bother them.
You know what? And I halfway respect that because you're still bothering other women.
Women that deserve to be bothered.
Oh my God. Okay. And the way that you're bothering them. Okay.
I could never play a decent girl.
Yeah.
A girl that's wife material, I would never. For all you whores.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm concerned with your qualifying these women.
You should know that I have a great picker. Me of all people, my picker is tuned to reality. I know,
you are. Yeah, you are in tune with reality.
I know the girls that are worth wasting time with versus the girls that if you engage in this space,
like,
you're married.
You have to take that seriously. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. Okay. Anyways, so what we've got from this conversation is that we are both
that's
toxic.
actually the takeaway is that we're kind of toxic.
I mean, everyone has a little bit of toxicity in them. You know, we all have our like. I feel like when I've engaged in toxic behavior, it's my little like child like self like having like a bit of a tantrum. It's like you just are consumed with what you want and what you need in those moments, and like that's the reality of it. And we all have a tendency to do that one way or another. No one's perfect.
I agree.
Literally at all.
I like that you said the inner child because the first relationship that you have is the relationship you have with your parents, and that's a very one-sided, entitled relationship.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that is extremely toxic. If they weren't your parents, that's an extremely toxic exchange.
Yeah.
And if you reenact that with if you reenact that with your peers, it's always going to be toxic.
Yeah.
And some people are more in tune with that childlike immaturity than others.
Yep. Because one thing I'll do is own up to my shit, at the very least.
At the very least. That's the one thing I can do so that I can keep doing that dumb shit.
Shut the fuck up. Y'all, we do not. So I can excuse my behavior.
As long as I know it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. As long as I know it's crazy, I can do whatever I want. I'm not pretending it's good.
Don't take Jem's advice. This
I'm not
episode.
giving advice. Like I said, this is not advice. I'm sharing with you. I'm being open and vulnerable with how I exist.
Yes.
Date me at your own peril is all I have to say.
Damn. Okay. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm over this.
That's all I have to say.
Oh my
I have
god.
no crazy wrapping up takeaway or anything. That was my takeaway.
No crazy.
Yep.
I want to know what everyone thinks their most toxic trait is. What is the thing that you do that is you're just like, I'm a toxic bitch for this one. That's what I want to know.
And don't be fake. We know you all toxic.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I feel like we opened up our hearts and souls to you guys this episode.
The least you can do is do the
Share
same.
with us. We want to
We
know.
want to know how toxic all of you crazy people are.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that being said, follow us on our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube, like our Facebook page, all that good stuff. And yeah, 'cause we love sharing content with you.
We sure do. Because at the end of the day, I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
We are the intellectuals.
Yes, we are.
Signing
No, we're the
off.
dumbasses.
We're the fucking idiots.
We're the fucking idiots signing off.
Yeah. Until next time. Bye.
Bye. Well, you did my part.